Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. With us today, it's a Friday, but it's worth it. Big news out of Rob Anson. He's the CEO over Fobi AI, trades in Canada, FOBI, and for friends in the US, FOBIF. For those new to the story, because you saw the headline, and I gotta say it now, about them being added to the S&P TSX Venture Index and wondering who are these guys, here's what you need to know. Fobi is a global leader in digital wallet pass technology that delivers real-time data analytics and engagement using artificial intelligence to drive more customer activation, engagement, and they're doing it both online, but more importantly, in real-world venues like stores, stadiums, arenas, hotels, and other large venues. And more than just lip service on the customer side. This year, they've announced Oscars and NASDAQ, NCAA, long history there. Great partnerships with the likes of TELUS and Amazon Web Services. Great integrations at Lightspeed, Shopify, on, and a number of acquisitions, the space that's put them in this leadership position. Rob, happy Friday. Welcome back, my friend.
George, happy Friday to you, and good to see you again.
Hey, so congratulations to you and all shareholders. The headline, Fobi AI added to S&P TSX Venture Composite Index. Usually you know what's coming because you're in control of your pipeline and you know what kind of news is coming down the road. This one you didn't know was coming until you got notified, what, 36 hours ago?
Yeah, no, this was a great surprise, of course. It's been a big week for us. I was down in Las Vegas, as you know, and yeah, to get this email and notification is a great honor, and it's a great validation for the company, of course, and congratulations to shareholders as well, of course.
A lot of investors, because it doesn't happen very often in the small cap world, don't know what the results are, what the benefit is of being added to an index. It's not just it's just not a nice badge. It has some real world practical implications on Fobi, and all companies are added to an index. Can you discuss that a little bit here to make sure everyone gets that straight?
No, you're exactly right, George. It's not just another badge on the wall, per se. This is something now that the access to the large institutions, fund managers, large family offices, etc. They have to cover a weighted average in their portfolio as to holding the Fobi shares. So this is big day for us. I've had a lot of fund managers reach out to me, literally already. Yeah, my LinkedIn's been going crazy, looking for more information, setting up meetings, introductions, these sorts of things. So, I've always been about foundation and architecture and process, and this is another big piece of the puzzle, and of course, another great third-party validation, as you say.
And if I can add a little bit of color for investors, because I've got a little more experience with this, there are a number of index funds out there, which means they're mutual funds, they're funds where an investor says, hey, I don't want to be a stock picker. I just want to own all of the S&P 500 as an index, and however it goes up and down, or the NASDAQ, or in this case, the S&P TSX Venture Composite. So there are funds out there that say, yeah, we'll do that for you. Well, in order for those funds to do that, they have to own all the shares that are in the index. They have to, otherwise they can't call themselves an index fund. They're a stock picking fund. So there are a number of indexes out there that index the TSX Venture, and now they have to buy shares of Fobi, not just today, tomorrow, next week, not just then, but Rob, as these funds get bigger, they have to keep adding shares of all companies, including Fobi, to their funds. Right?
No, that's the big thing that we're going to see, in great injection. There's not a lot of selling, George, outside of the algos in our stock right now, and people that are on board are here for the long term, which is great to see. The level of support, and I would say even the sophistication of our shareholders is quite impressive. I communicate regularly with quite a few of them on LinkedIn, when they always approach me with great questions that are well orchestrated and thought out and positioned, and I try to give as much time as I can to, provide information that I'm able to, at least. That it's a good day for them, and they're very, very excited about it. It's been it's been a lot of fun. You know, I feel rejuvenated. I'm having a lot more fun now. It's been a grind over the last, couple of years here to continually push to make everything happen. And, I don't want to say I get obsessed with things, but,
You get focused.
yeah, I get focused. And for me, I'm very clear as to the progression of roadmap. And, we've seen some great change now and shift from engineering to lighter sales, marketing, and media side of our business. And I'm having a lot of fun again, which is, it's good. I feel totally re-energized and rejuvenated. And we've got a tremendous team. And I think we're obviously, as you see, and we're well positioned for the future.
Yeah, the analogy there has got to be, it's cool building a Ferrari, but it's a lot cooler driving the Ferrari once it's built. So you're building your Ferrari all this time, and now you're taking off for a spin, and that probably explains why you're having a lot more fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's it was challenging with all the acquisitions we did, and it kind of feels like Groundhog Day every day that you're stuck in the mud. And now to see these integrations complete, and now the level of real-time interoperability amongst all of our ecosystem here is great. And as I said last interview, George, we were well ahead of the curve here. And people just simply weren't educated. Organizations didn't have the ability to shift, to become nimble and agile. And this whole digital transformation craze has put us in a very, very strong position now because, as I said, we've been in the end zone waiting for those to catch up to us, and now the high fives are coming. So it's very rewarding to see that my vision was, in fact, of course, correct. But it's even more, I think, satisfying and gratifying to see now these sorts of accolades and stuff, and to hear the feedback from other organizations that we're working with. That it's a lot of fun again, as I said.
Great. And it's great. It's great to see that smile on your face. Speaking of fun, you're in the ultimate place for fun, Vegas. You post some great pics from the AllNet construction site. What were you talk to us about the AllNet, because that was a big deal because they've started construction, but also talk to us about what was going on in Vegas in general, because I'm sure you weren't there just for that.
No, there's it was great. I mean, they've put together a fantastic team as well. Now that the project is under construction and going, there's been a lot of planning, of course, and obviously we're playing a huge part in that build up from an IT perspective and experience and data and the wallets and these things. So there'll be a lot of things to come. Let's just say that is very exciting to see, and to be able to stand there and look at the surroundings of the spectacle of the strip, and then to see this dirt hole. And I keep replaying that video over and over in my head, going, how the hell is this going to actually even fit here? First, I mean, it's amazing to me that the Cunningham Group has done an amazing job from the architecture of this property, and it's really mind blowing to fathom how that is going to actually be developed just in that, which appears to be tiny. Of course, it's huge, but it's kind of mind blowing to see that.
What else is going on in Vegas? I know there's a big money show was
Yeah.
there. I don't think we're attending that, but there are a lot of players. That's for sure.
I was in attendance there. I was invited to attend. It was very interesting. I mean, everyone was there, I would say, in the sort of fintech and payment space. Of course, open banking is I've spoken about for quite a while here. You had all your different crypto token coin companies there, and your Apples and Googles of the world and whatnot. So it was a great show. I met a lot of great people. There's some interesting opportunities I think will come of it for sure. And there's just a lot of great energy back in Vegas, which is great with all the conferences reopening now and getting people back into attendance, and to see that energy and feel that again is exciting, very exciting.
And you had a store opening there that.
Yeah, Scotch and Soda, of course. Right. Fashion Show Mall. I got the opportunity to go check out the store and download our digital member card that we provide to them, and it was a great experience. Senior Frogs was great. They shared all their expansion plans and their focus for the next coming year, and where we fit in that. So it's no, overall it went great, very good. And then ended off, I had come back a day early because I had this notification here from TSX. So to say it's been a good week would be a gross understatement.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the last one I want to talk about, because it's a Friday, so we just want to make it kind of light, but I want to make sure we almost don't take for granted these wins, because you also, in between the last time we spoke and today, I'm going to read it. Streamboxy, you did a deal with them. That's a European event platform for online and hybrid events for tier one companies like BMW, Volkswagen, Panasonic. This is a big company. But what I found really interesting out of it is the hybrid part. Because if it was just events, first of all, we'd say thumbs up. All the shareholders would be happy because it's another nice win. But we wouldn't really need to cover it because I think everyone understands, what we're doing for events now and how valuable we are. But the hybrid part is what caught my attention, and clearly even the company said this is going to be a big help. Let's talk about the opportunity in hybrid events.
Well, it is, George. I mean, the attendance is understandably way down for these in-person events still, right? Because some countries or some organizations aren't allowing, in-person attendance. The cost, I mean, everyone's been beaten up in the markets, so the preservation of cash flows is challenging. And quite honestly, now we see a new world in the workplace and meetings and stuff where it is online, and that is kind of the new norm, as they say. But this was a great opportunity because our venue access management, of course, is all about in-person experience and attendance and activation. To be able to now have Streamboxy connect this with the online approach and engagement and interaction and participation, for us, it was a no-brainer. So they built out a integration with our past creator APIs, and I think this is the big one. And as you saw, going back to Scotch and Soda, with one of them, Thompson, was Salesforce integration, right? Connecting these things now, George, that we have these integrations and API keys built, it just opens up a tremendous amount of infrastructure opportunities. And Streamboxy is one, of course, that Las Vegas is the mecca, if you will, of conferences and live events. So to be able to have that participation. So if you can imagine as well, George, from what do we see for, let's use UFC, for example. We've got T-Mobile Arena in attendance, or Madison Square Garden. We got pay-per-views, right? So you've got this, continuity now of audience, whether you're in stadium or your pay-per-view sitting in the bar, or, comfort here at home. So having that extra layer adds big opportunity for us, and it's been very well received, quite honestly. It's this hybrid model, I don't think ever goes away. I think it becomes better. I think you'll start to see more immersive technologies built off of it that layer on this engagement and value, and you'll feel like you're right there. I mean, of course, the whole metaverse plays a part of it as well. So
yeah, I think up until now, hybrid events, the only way I felt a part of it was I could watch this presentation by Rob Anson in Las Vegas. I'm not there, I could watch it, but that's not really being engaged. No. In fact, it's a money loser for the event company, because George sitting at home, he doesn't have to show up. He just gets all the information he wants, but nothing to the event company. So by putting George onto a wallet and saying, hey, we want it, then it turns into a win-win for everybody, but especially event company.
It is too. And just imagine, we've done a lot of galas and fundraiser events where these are very valuable use cases and pilots that we built out. I look at it as a use case or pilot. It was live paid activation, of course, but for me, it's always about learning, and it's about understanding the art of what's possible and pushing those limits. And, when I started to see that the live auctioneer, that excitement and energy, Marco Iannuzzi, who is one of the events for the GBCI Adam Hadwin tournament we did, it was just electric. And it's like, oh man, I wish, we had, I think it was 120 people in the room in attendance. That energy and buzz that Marco was creating was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it before, but you think about it, you generate 125 grand in support for the charity by those that are just in attendance. Could you imagine now if you had that opened up to the audience of the world? that wanted to participate that couldn't get into this invite-only event. Sky's the limit. So I think, as I said, I think Streamboxy, there's some very cool things that we'll do with them that open up extension of the art of what's possible today.
In the spirit of it also being a Friday and a light day, you know, so we're not getting too intense. We're celebrating the Composite Index Edition and whatnot. I've also got to express my condolences to you over Tom Brady, because you've hammered me in the past when Tom Brady's beating the Cowboys up and down.
Yeah,
the fall from grace has happened. We saw him last night, 3-5. Giselle divorcing him today.
I think that's the best thing, though, George. I think hear me out here. Their division. I mean, it's much like, and I can understand that when, you know, I've dealt with a lot of family adversity, of course, with what's gone on. You know, this year with the wars and stuff, and you know, losing friends. It's distracting, right? And I think that I think it's a great step forward. You put disclosure and things in the past and rearview mirror, and you move forward, and you become lighter and a lot clearer focus. And the good thing for the Bucks is they're in a shitty division, pardon my language, but I think
it is a shitty division.
It is. So like I said, you know, where there's adversity, there's opportunities. And you know, Tom Brady's had a great career, but I'm still struggling to cope with my 49ers. And I think it's the same thing there. It's still early, baby.
So you're not saying you're not saying I'm getting the last laugh just yet.
I put it this way: I hope we play the Cowboys again, so you lose a second year in a row.
Hey, thanks for coming on a Friday. Congratulations. The biggest thing with the S&P TSX Venture Composite Index Edition, just a great cherry on top of what's been, you know, a year where you just keep moving this ball forward, man. And congrats to you and the whole team.
Yeah, thanks, George. For us, I'm always just about, you know, right now it's very difficult times. Of course, let's be real here. So, you know, for us, we just keep grinding. We keep showing up and we keep pushing forward. And really, it's all you can do, right? And, you know, we're pushing hard.
Well, look, I've been in these capital markets for 25 years. And one thing I know is an immutable rule. You know which companies are real during these times.
Yep.
That's when you find out. George Com, everyone take a drink at home. You know, George Com widgets isn't real. They're talking a big game, no real sales, no real things. Well, this is when they crater and get crushed. And the real companies like Fobi keep moving ahead with wins and things like that. And it's great to see, Rob. So yeah, the macro may not be the easiest, but in the long run, this is going to help out Fobi immensely, separate itself from everybody else.
Oh, for sure. I think we're, you know, I'm very optimistic about next year. I think that, you know, the market's obviously had a huge correction, and not just, you know, housing as well as inflation and numbers and these sorts of things. But I think that early Q1 next year, the things start to move again. And as we've seen historically in the past, that things as fast as they go down, they go as violently up just as quick on the rebounds. So there's a lot of great values out there right now. And I think we're a huge value here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Rob. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Thanks, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform, to Rob Anson, CEO at Fobi AI, trades in Canada under FOBI. For our friends in the US, FOBIF. For those of you new to the story, because you saw the Composite Index Edition and want to know more about what the company does, get to their profile page on Agoracom, because there's a lot going on here with the technology, the different applications, so many different things. But we've got it neatly laid out for you so you can kind of get a good understanding. And then once you got that, head over to the Fobi website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and then leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel so you don't ever miss another great Agoracom small cap video.